What in the sup? Welcome to the first storytime video of many to come. I'm sorry I look ratchet right now. It's nighttime and I worked all day. I was trying to think of all the crazy stories that I have and which one to start with, and I decided to tell you guys about the time me and my cousin got assaulted at church camp, to be exact. How do I even get into this? So you guys know my cousin. Her name is Pearl. I live with her. She's my roommate, my best friend. If not, you guys can see her on my Instagram and follow her if you want to know what she looks like and stuff. So this story takes place in 7th or 8th grade. It was the summer after 7th grade. So I was going into 8th grade. Pearl and I grew up in church. Our family has a church background, as I've told you guys before. So we went to youth group on the regular, you know. And at this time, we had a bunch of youth leaders, and they all came as camp counselors to a summer camp that we went to every year. And I had been going to it since like 6th grade, so this was either my second or third time going to this camp. One night, Pearl and I decided to go be little pranksters. So what we did was really dumb. I don't even remember most of the pranks. They were probably so stupid, like just putting like toothpaste and shaving cream everywhere, because I do know that we did do that to this one cabin. We went around pulling pranks, scaring people, whatever, all night. Did we do this in pure daylight? I know we did pranks all night one night. I think this part was in the morning. We went into a camp counselor's cabin and we put shaving cream all over her pirate costume because it was pirate themed, the camp. So she had this really ugly costume and we put shaving cream all over it, and then we put toothpaste all over her doorknob. Keep in mind, we didn't plan ahead to pull pranks, otherwise they would have been way better, but we didn't really have anything, so that was the best we had. We did this, and as we're leaving this lady's cabin, we're gonna call her, I really don't know what to call her. We're just gonna call her Betty. So Betty was a camp counselor, and we didn't like her to begin with. Okay, I don't know if I should say this. She was married and she had 2 kids, and she was creepily hanging out with a 17-year-old that was from the youth group. This guy, we're gonna call him Dude. Pearl and I saw her going out in the woods with this dude, and they were always together, and it was really weird, and they were always missing from the church camp when we were like doing activities, which me and Pearl caught on to that and we're like, that's a little weird. As we're leaving this girl's cabin, after we put shaving cream all over her stuff and toothpaste on her doorknob, as we're walking out, we see her and the guy walking through the woods, and they see us leaving her cabin and they start running towards the cabin. So we take off and we're running, like laughing, thinking it's funny. I don't know why, because it was literally such a dumb prank. We run into the kitchen and we're hiding behind the counters, and there's people in the kitchen at this time cooking, and we knew all of the people in there. They were like people from our church, so we're hiding in there and we're laughing, thinking it's funny. It took a while. I feel like we were hiding for a while. They come in. It's Betty and Dude. Okay, that sounds like freaking Hollister. How they do dudes and Bettys. Wow, okay. My past is coming out. Anyway, so Betty and Dude come running in the kitchen. One of them picks up Pearl, one of them picks up me, and they're like carrying us together. We're like screaming and everyone's laughing, thinking it's a funny thing. And then they drag us outside and they like drag us through the freaking rocks. And all of a sudden, both of them are like pulling my head back and pouring all over my face and my hair. And I'm thinking, what is this? Like, at first I thought it was like shampoo or honey, and it was in a big cup, like a big thing. And so I let it get in my mouth and in my eyes and everything, and I had no idea what it was. And they're yelling at us, and I remember Betty being like, "Do you know why I'm doing this?" Like, doing it out of anger. And I'm like, no, what the I get up and then I see them going after Pearl because Pearl was standing there watching, like freaking out. They go after Pearl and I'm like, Pearl, run! And they grab her and they dump it all over her too. And she didn't know what it was either, so she let it get in her mouth and all over her face also. They run away after. They just take off. And I started realizing what was on me. It was motor oil. These douchebags drug us out in the dirt and the rocks and pulled our hair and were being aggressive with us and dumped motor oil in our mouths, in our eyes, all over our face, our hair, our clothes, everything. It starts to burn. So me and Pearl start crying and we're like freaking out, not knowing what to do because I'm like, dude, I swallowed that stuff, and like Pearl did too. So we start running towards the showers and some of the other youth leaders are like, whoa, what just happened? And they're like yelling at Betty and Dude, and me and Pearl are crying like, what do we do? All I remember is being in the shower for like a second by ourselves. It was me and Pearl. It was just silent in there. We get up there by ourselves while they're calling poison control, and then all of a sudden all these people just like blast into the bathroom and they start taking our clothes off. I'm butt naked. Pearl's butt naked. We're in the showers. There's random people just like scrubbing us down with laundry detergent, which really is uncomfortable if you have never done that. It's like gritty and it's cutting your skin and it burns. That's what poison control said to do, I guess. Those assholes dumped all of our clothes out of our luggage into the mud, sprayed them down with a hose so we would have nothing to change into after. Pretty much, we had to wear these clothes from the camp owners, and they gave us some nasty sweatpants and like stained wife beaters, and they gave us underwear to wear, and Pearl's had, I kid you not, Pearl's had period stains in them. So we're just looking at each other like, I'm not wearing that. So we end up putting the sweatpants on, but we did not put the underwear on. Like, let me tell you, we were not about to put that on. So we're just going commando in our sweatpants that aren't even ours. They're some weird people's that own the camp. We go down to the chapel. Our hair is so oily. It's disgusting. Like, it's like, I can't even tell you. Like, I have pictures on my mom's old laptop that's broken. I wish I could insert them right now. It was disgusting. So we walk down into the chapel because we're having a church service. We walk in and it's dead silent and everybody is staring at us. We just go through the chapel and I call my mom eventually. Like, they call my mom and tell her what happened, and she's like, oh, heck no. So my mom's about to come to this camp. She had a broken leg at the time. She's about to beat this lady with her cast. Let me tell you, she was pissed. Eddie and Dude are nowhere to be found at this time. They end up taking off. They left the camp. So they're gone and we go home. We both had to go to the doctor. Actually, I don't remember if Pearl went, but I went because I was coughing that stuff up and it was coming out my eyes. So I go to the doctor and they say, yeah, I would definitely press charges because if you had inhaled more of that and got it in your lungs, we wouldn't have been able to get it out. We called the cops and we wanted to press charges. A couple days later, Pearl had stayed the night with me. Our hair, keep in mind, this is like a couple days after, and our hair is still completely oily, and we have washed it like a million times with dish soap, all different kinds of things, trying to get the oil out, and it was not happening. I had beautiful long hair. I had to cut it up to here, and it was like down to my waist, and I had to cut it up to here. I was pissed, and my first day of 8th grade was only a few days away, so I had to have short hair that I didn't like, and I was just pissed. Betty shows up at my door, knocking on the door. My brother goes to open it and we're like, wait, don't open it, it could be a bad guy. And she is outside and hears us say that, so she goes, it's Betty. And we all start screaming because like, you are a bad guy. As I open the door and she's bawling her eyes out, gives me flowers, and we're just giving her dirty looks like, you can leave. Like, you going to jail, girl. You ain't getting out of this. She leaves. A cop shows up And he's like, do you want to press charges? You can definitely press charges. And we're like, yes, take her to jail. Then people at our church are saying that we provoked her. She's an adult. We're children. What do you mean? What ended up happening was my mom ended up dropping the charges because she didn't want to deal with the drama at the church. And that lady got put on probation from being a youth leader. That's literally it. I was so mad. So me and Pearl weren't allowed to go to youth group anymore until we got another youth leader. We weren't allowed to be in choir or anything because she was the leader of it. And pretty much Pearl and I got the short end of the stick on that one. We told everybody that her and that 17-year-old were hooking up and stuff. Nobody believed us. They were like, you guys are full of it. Like, you're making stuff up just to have a reason to not like her. 6 months to a year later, guess what happens? When dude turns 18, right away she leaves her husband, they move away, they have a ton of babies together. Early they had triplets, I'm pretty sure. And everyone knew we were right. So yeah. That's my story about how I got assaulted and how Pearl got assaulted. And to this day, motor oil disgusts me. Like, if I smell it, I want to vomit. And I don't want to touch it. Like, nothing. It's so disgusting. I have a lot more stories to tell you guys, so be ready. I will see you guys in my next video.